Okay, I'm trying this again, folks. Apparently, I don't seem to be streaming. If there's anybody there, if you could please give me a thumbs up or something, that would be fantastic. Uh, don't tell me. Don't tell me I'm having troubles again. Okay. All right. I've got one thumbs up, so that means we are okay. We are live. Greetings and welcome everyone to 2 Minute Tips for Healthy Beauty and Confident Aging. I'm Sharon Danley, and this channel's focus is on inner and outer beauty through simplicity, strength, style, and grace. Okay, we're starting a new series today, and it's all about I'm the boss of me. Doesn't matter what age we're at, being your own boss about everything is really vital. And we're going to look at perspective, appearance, and how they interact and are part of your performance for whatever it is, whether you're reading to your grandchildren or you're the CEO of a big corporation. Then we're going to have 2 beauty tips in 2 minutes, followed by our usual Q&A. All righty, let's jump right into our I'm the boss of me. Now, I wrote this about, a number of years ago, and it's had 2 editions, and I'm just finishing up the 3rd edition to this. I've had some really good response with it over the years, and I really like to incorporate our inner beauty with our outer, because no matter what great lipstick you're wearing or how good your makeup is, when you have your inner self aligned with your outer self, you really have a powerful, powerful way of being in the world and for yourself. So this is where it's coming from. What it's all about? It's self-management, and how that, when it's practiced, it turns into self-mastery. We're going to learn how to handle any situation powerfully. And I mean any situation, because a person who's in charge of themselves is in charge of everything around them. Be in charge of your emotions, not the other way around. Okay? It makes a big difference. There's times to let emotion run the train, and there's times to let your intellect run the train, wherever it is you're going. And the power comes from knowing when to use what, given the circumstances that you're in. We're going to talk about transforming limiting beliefs into strength of character, because we all have a set of beliefs that we live by. And the healthy person, the person who's in charge of themselves, can look at a new belief system and assess it, whether to adopt it, whether adopt part of it, or whether just to stay on the road that you're on. But that only comes from being in charge of who you are and how you think and how you move through this world. We're going to talk about designing your attitude. Yes, you can decide how to be. You can decide how to feel. These are what powerful people do. People who are in charge of themselves. This is the way they run their lives. And with these other 3, how to direct your life. Whatever direction you're going in, you can decide how you're going to go. And sometimes that means changing your mind. Sometimes that means, I tried this, but it wasn't so good, so I'm going to try another way. Other times it means checking what's going on around you and maybe coming to the decision that the way you believe and what you're doing to your end goals and the direction you're going in is just exactly what's right for you. Okay, the more responsible you are, or in charge of yourself and how you direct your own life, the more confidence you gain. And the more confidence you gain, you possess more self-esteem and success and experience. It is a proven fact. Now, we all know that people are always drawn to confidence. They respect it, they love it, they want to be around it, they want to have it. And what is it? Confidence is having your act together, both internally and externally. And unlike arrogance, which is really just a lack of self esteem, it's undeveloped skill, and it's self direction, true confidence and esteem, it feels great and benefits your physical and mental health in countless ways. Now, in this series that we're going to be doing, here's the contents, and I'm just going to go over this for you a little bit. Self-governance, both inner and outer. We're going to look at, in the inner part, we're going to look at mind and spirit. We're going to talk about managing what we don't like and circumstances we don't create. How many times has something happened to you and you didn't create the circumstances, you didn't create the situation, but you're in it nevertheless. So how do you own your own personal power and make the best out of what you've got to deal with? And we're going to talk about how to prevent and transform hostility that we get from others. That included with embracing our age. I hear from women all the time about, oh, when I go gray hair, my husband doesn't like it, or my colleagues don't like it, or my kids, or whatever. The point is, do you like it? And are you showcasing your gray hair the best way you can? That's just one little example. But there's so many other things in life that these same principles apply to. Relationships. We're going to talk about your relationship with others, but with yourself. Your relationship with yourself. What is your relationship with yourself? So we're going to explore that. Your attitudes and beliefs and tips on how to direct them. Decide how to feel, decide what to believe in, etc. Then we're going to talk about the personal packaging, which is what we've been doing on this channel most of the time anyway. It's about our image of ourselves, both internally and externally. Talking about keeping fit mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, all those different things. And where it's important to grab some me time, where you just have to tune the world out and be about you and a restorative time for yourself. And also what your visual presence is. You package everything together. What kind of a presence are you bringing to the game? So then the other part of self-governance is personal packaging, your self-image, and the keeping fit and all those sorts of things. Then we have communication, which is, it's not going down so well in society these days, is it? We're going to talk about outward expression, how you express yourself, whether you're dealing with social media, whether you're dealing with your colleagues at work, your grandchildren, your children, whatever it is. And then we're going to talk about how you use your voice. Because believe it or not, your voice and its tone is 55% of any communication that you make. That's a whopping big number. So it's something really to consider, and something that's often overlooked, and I'm sure many of you have heard about it, and that is active listening. What is active listening? It means listening intentionally and with your full attention to the person that's speaking. That is one of the most powerful tools in the world that is so overlooked. And to me, it's the greatest gift we can give anybody. The other thing is believability. When you're giving your message, spoken or visual, are you giving it with full authenticity, or are you just kind of saying what you feel you have to say and that's it? Those things we're going to explore. And then we're going to talk about taking charge of your financial situation, financial fitness, and managing your time and reducing your stress, because it can be done. And then we're going to talk about organizing spaces and places that we live in or that we work in, because all those things affect how we feel about ourselves and our internal strength. And then we're going to be looking at doing some exploration in achieving success. We're going to explore unleashing your dreams. If you had no boundaries whatsoever and you could do whatever you want with and not have to worry about the finances or anything or the people in your life, what is it you would do? And we're going to look at exploring that. And then also our excitements and our passions, the things that turn us on. What are they really? Because oftentimes we've left them, in the back room as we've moved forward in life. The other thing we will look at is, what is your life mission statement? And personal slogans and personal affirmations. That's a really fun exercise. And then we're going to look at your daily living plan. How do you implement these things that we'll be working toward in this series on a daily basis? How do we do that? It's pretty simple, actually. And something else to look at, and you'll be thinking about these, I hope. Who is your internal committee of mentors? In other words, who's got the most space in your head? Who are you listening to? Who are you reading? Who are you watching? Who are you interacting with? Those things are all important. And then we're going to look at rewards and appreciations. How do we reward ourselves? Because rewards are important in life. I don't care what anybody says. And then we're going to talk about a win list. Again, this is a culmination of all these things. And another good thing is a feel-good file. Yeah, a feel-good file. In other words, when anybody says something good to you or sends you a note or an email or a social media post or whatever, and it feels good and it gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling, put it someplace so that you can grab hold of it. And when things are down, you can look at that. I have to tell you, a feel-good file is absolutely essential. And then creating, terrific and natural habitats, how you surround yourself, not only in organizing, but what are the colors you use? What are the things that you dress in? What is it that you surround yourself in your daily living or working life? And then we're going to talk about the power of journaling. I got to tell you, to me, it's one of the most important things that anybody can engage in. And then we're going to look at creating or freeing our creativity. And then a few things about reminders of what Mom always told us. And to create a happier self in ourselves, we also create a happier world too. So that's about it with respect to what this little course or series or whatever it is you want to call it is going to be all about. I just want to check over here and see. No, we're not going to go there yet. We're going to go here. So what I'd like to do is to open this up to questions before we move on to our next section and see if there's any questions that anybody has about this so that we can answer them now before we go to our 2 tips. Well, I see, let me see. Who's that girl? Good morning. And Myra Rainey, good morning. And Zola Winnie and good afternoon. So it must be from some other part in the world. Jackie Davis, good morning. Sharon, good to see you. Thank you, Jackie. And good to hear you too, or read you too. And Jennifer Johns, good morning, Jennifer. Now, if anybody has questions, please, I'd love to hear them, or we can open up some dialogue on any part of this that you like. I'm not seeing any questions. Is there anything that anybody wants me to how shall I say, go over a little bit more, or anything like that? Well, a good morning, Beth and Corey. If anybody has questions, like this series, by the way, is going to be, and I'm trying to decide, so I'm going to need your help. I'm trying to decide whether to do it every other week, once a month, every week until the series is finished so we can build on it, which I tend to think is a kind of a good idea, or every other week so that when we do the exercises in between, we really put some time into them. I think that would be what I would hazard a guess is the best for most people. And let me see. Corey Shaw says good morning, and Christine Snitkin. Those are all great things to incorporate into our lives. Yes, thank you, Christine. And I'm going to just pull these up because I left space for them. They are good things, and I have to say that when I wrote this, I should give you a little bit of background about it too, because when I wrote it, I had just finished pretty much, I was ready for the final exams for doing transformational psychotherapy. I have a ton of lived experience. And in so many areas. I decided not to get my license for transformational psychotherapy, as I decided not to become a lawyer too, because I find that, and this is my opinion and my vast experience, the psychiatric community doesn't necessarily help us fast track and get to our answers. And the other thing that I found in working with survivors, that instead of helping people after the fact, nobody's paying much attention about preventing it in the first place. Having women and girls stronger within themselves and healthier within themselves so that they can stand up against things that may pull them down in a number of ways. And so that's why I decided to write this. And I actually taught it at George Brown College here in Toronto. I had a course as a course for a while, and I got rave reviews about it, and I was awarded the Con Ed Teacher of the Year award for the course. So it's always been there. It's been one of the things I've been going to update as I have retired, and there's a couple of other projects like this that I'm doing as well. And the other thing is that also being a makeup artist, I think that you can't just do makeup and leave the rest alone. Brains and beauty go together. I don't care what anybody says. Our head and our heart work together. They work in tandem. You can't have one without the other in a well-rounded, healthy, and productive life. And life transitions, this is another thing. When we come into our different passages, whether we're coming out of our teens, going into our 40s, then going into our 50s and 60s, and then going into our 70s and 80s and that sort of thing, there's transitions along the way. And every one of those transitions has its gems and it has its difficult parts. And so how can we transition it from one phase of our life to the next with a sense of power and purpose? And when I say power, I am not for 1 second talking about power over others. Not at all. I'm talking about power within yourself, embracing and expanding your own personal power. Okay, so that's a little bit of the background where it came from. And like I said, I have some lived experience that's pretty profound, and I've come through it, and I've learned some great tricks and honed some good tools, and I've put them all together in this little I'm the Boss of Me, and I think it's worth sharing, because to me beauty is not just the exterior. Beauty is our heart. Beauty is our intention. Beauty is the kind of person we are as well. We're like a velvet covered or a cardboard box that's had a bow put on it, or a velvet covered box that has mastered everything and put it all together. Does that make any sense? I'm just trying to find little ways to explain that. I see a couple of other people here. Una from Northern Ireland, lovely to see you. And Mira Rainey, I would like it frequent. Okay, thank you for that, Mira. And Beth Topeka, I like every other week or every week, so we have time to process, practice, and build together. Bravo, Beth. I like the way you think. I think that's a good idea too. And Jackie Davis, if I had one tip to pass along, if you had one tip to pass along, what would it be for today? After I'll use this. Sometimes life is difficult. Sometimes it's so overjoying. That's not such a great phrase. You're overjoyed with joy. And as some of you know, I'm a crier. When I find community, when I see beautiful things, when there is tragedy, I cry. And that's okay, because tears are the soul expressing itself. When I see people who are happy to do this and want to do it more, that fills my heart with joy. Look at me, just that we can create a wonderful supportive community just in this little series here that I think will work well for all of us. And in sharing our ideas and the things that we come up with, it will be amazing. You'll see. And Zola Winnie, I would like every week. Okay. And Myrna, my self-esteem is starting a new type of job. My self-esteem in starting a new type of job. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but we certainly will be looking at it, because whether it's a new job, a new grandbaby, a new love, a new volunteerism, a new way of, having to adapt to a body that's losing its mobility or its sight or its hearing or whatever. It's a new way of being. So all those things are certainly going to be worthwhile. And Victoria, looking forward to first assignment. Oh, beautiful. This is great. And Zola Winnie says, I need to fast track. I hear you. And Jennifer asked a question because Una said, good question, Jennifer. I guess I must have missed it, or maybe I didn't. And Myrna says she would like to fast track. And Jackie Davis says, I agree, Sharon. Makeup can't cover up an ugly person on the inside. You are so right. You are so right. We can have the world's perfect makeup application, look wonderful. And if there's something missing behind the eyes or in the voice tone when you're saying something to someone, won't matter. It won't matter. That's all there is to it. But when you've got some gems to offer the world, when you package yourself better, the world listens more. It's just a fact. And Nana, head and love needs to work together. Head and heart needs to work together. Absolutely, Nana. I totally agree with you. And Victoria Violet, I have clinical depression. I'm used to it and do my best. Don't wish it on anyone, but it enables me to have compassion, an odd gift. That's very astute of you. And Victorian Violet, I understand. I really do. And I won't say guarantee. I will try to reassure you that you are going to find some real gems in this, because I've worked with a lot of women who, as I said, have been depressed, or who have been violated in a number of ways and that sort of thing. And this has really, really helped. Is it one golden thing? No, but it is a tool that you put in your toolbox of life, the things you can refer to, and you'll see why as we go along. Will we be able to watch this multiple times to reinforce? Oh, absolutely. I think maybe what I might do is I'm either going to put it into the playlist that already exists, Inner You University, or I may create a separate playlist for it for easy access. I think maybe, let me know what you think, so that you can just go to the playlist, and you can, and I will number them A, B, C, so that you have easy access to that as well. Okay. And Una, good to hear. Thank you. Okay. And Beth Tompkins, this is a major life transition time for me. Looking forward to retiring from science teaching in a year and a half. Oh, wonderful. I'm excited to have, whoops, now why did that disappear? Let me try this again. I'm excited to have new potential, power, and purpose. Oh, you betcha, Beth. You absolutely betcha. And Mira, I guess it's fear in starting a new type of job. Ah, okay, thank you, Mira. Yes, 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 of course it's fear. Of course it's fear. And one of the ways we can combat fear is being, what's the word I'm looking at or for? It's being in charge of how we feel. And when we do feel fear, it's a signal that we need to adjust something or run for cover or something. We need to know what it is, and then we have to design what we're going to do around it. Now, so when it comes to a new job, start looking at what are the skills that the company requires from you. What have you got to offer? What skills do you need to hone up on that you already have? Is there anything new that you have to acquire that you can do, through Ms. Google on the internet? Is there anything that you need to practice? Is there any skill set that you need to freshen up? All those things are good. What's your elevator speech for a new job when you go into an interview? Take 15 seconds, write a personal commercial about yourself. This is a tip for today. Write a commercial about yourself for 15 seconds long and tell us what you are all about, or what are you offering. And remember, when you're writing it for a job, you think about what they're looking for, not what you want. Okay? What do they want? If you're running a business, you think about, when they talk about being client-centered, I've got a hair here. When they talk about being client-centered, you think about, what does the client want? What does the client need? What can you bring to the client? So if you think in those terms, I think that you will, and write it down. The art of writing. Now, I've been reading about this lately too, and the old pen or pencil and paper has shown to be something that's really important with connecting the mind to the body. When we're typing on a keyboard and that sort of thing, it's a very different kind of thing. Now, I have to tell you, when I've journaled both with a pen, with a calligraphy pen, with colors, and I've typed. And I've video journaled too. And they're all very interesting ways of journaling. I'm a rabid journalist, not journalist, journaling person. Speaking right, I have 4 journals. I attend to them fairly regularly, but we'll talk about that. So anyway, I hope that helps. What have you got to offer? What are you bringing to the table? What do you need to freshen up? And what more do you need to add to your toolkit? I hope that helps you, Myrna. And Corey, do you have a book on these topics, or is it a lecture series? Both. I'm in the process of finishing up an edit. I do have an old one. I mean, it's not that old, but I do have an older one, but I'm in the process of updating it for 2019, and that will be available for free. The idea is, if you've gleaned something from it, which I know you will, pay it forward with your own special talent or your time or your treasure to someone in need in your part of the world. And I'd appreciate it if you did it in my daughter Andrea Main's name. That's the reason I'm doing all of this stuff. It's for free, and I will help in any way that I can. All these things are made available, but the idea is that you pass your own stuff on to somebody else. And Jennifer Jones, when struggling with depression, what is the first thing you would do before getting out of bed, before your feet hit the floorboards and the day begins? Jennifer, I have practiced this for some time. Before I get out of bed, I design how my day is going to go. I decide what I'm going to accomplish, because now I'm in the the retirement part of my life. So my life is very different now than what it used to be. So, but I still design my life. Just because I'm retired, it doesn't mean I don't do anything. I design my life, and as I'm getting older, I'm recognizing that I need to do less physically in some cases. Like, I don't do any more than 2, and now it's getting down to 1, outings for something specific at this point. Now, I have to have my knee replaced in January, and it's becoming really problematic for me. So instead of fighting it, I think about, okay, what can I do today? What are the things that I need to accomplish today? What are the things I need to keep my environment tip top? What are the things that I can contribute to the world? And depending on the time or the season or whatever, look at what else needs to be done. And then I decide how I'm going to do things. And the other thing that I decide, am I going to bring a sense of humor to something? Am I going to, get out the soapbox on something because it needs it? Whatever it is, I make those decisions before my feet hit the floorboards. So I hope that helps. And Mary Wagner, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. That phrase proves itself as we age. Oh, yes, it does, Mary. It absolutely does. No two ways about it. And Mira Rainey, thank you so much. You are so welcome. I hope that really does help you. So it doesn't appear as if we have any more questions. So shall we move along then to our 2 beauty tips in 2 minutes? Okay, first one, sanitary wipes. Use these to clean out your makeup. When you carry your makeup in a bag, sort of similar to this, you take it all out when you clean your brushes once a month, once a week. Take everything out and clean it with a wipe, because these are sanitary. They're they're the Lysol wipes that are disinfecting wipes. So you make sure everything's nice and clean. You can clean around your palettes, even your eyeshadows, the little things that they sit in. Wipe around the edges. Make sure that everything is sanitized. Okay, that really makes a difference. And then spritz alcohol over top of all your powders and your tools. Your tools need to be shampooed if they're brushes, but your other things, like your makeup spatula or whatever, you can either use it with wipe with an alcohol, with a disinfecting wipe, or you can spritz it with alcohol. All right, and then the next one is separated paper towels. Now, I'm going to show you what I mean. We're all familiar with the Bounce, right? The tear sheets. Well, you can separate them. So that's what I do. And then I fold it in half. And I've got flexibility. It's much softer when it's like this. when putting on your lipstick, ladies, especially the ink or the Maybelline Superstay 24 Hour, if you've got too much on your lips, you know, you're waiting for it to dry, or even if it doesn't seem like there's too much on your lips, simply do this. And it will take away the excess. Then you can put your next layer on. It will take away the excess. And then your highlight, which doesn't go past the roll, and you only need a little bit of highlight, then you can, you know, put your balm on and you're good to go. And you know what I've discovered? Is that when I do this with my lips, I find that my lips really stay even longer. I'm not kidding. It's just something I've recently discovered. Now, the other thing that I like about these is there's no lint. Kleenex and those sorts of things have a lint or fibers or something in them, so that when you need to, you know, blot, put it on the thing, put it this on the waterline in the center like this. Close your eye, open it, and everything will be, the moisture will be picked up by the paper towel, and you won't have messed up your makeup in any way, shape, or form. Okay? It's and if you have teary eyes a lot because you are, you know, it could be pollen season, or you're crying for whatever reasons like I do, or that sort of thing, you'll find that if I just wrap it around my finger and I just do this, it sops everything up and there's no lint. Whereas when I use Kleenex, I find that if I have a really watery day, then I'm finding that fibers end up, you know, sticking to my eyes, and then it causes more problems. So you know, those are the quick tips that I think are really good. Remember, for your lips and your eyes, a half, and making sure I just, you know, use your sanitary wipes for cleaning everything in your makeup bag. Because when your makeup is clean and it's sanitized, it performs really, really well for you. Okay, you're going to get the most bang out of your buck when you do that. Okay, so let's go back to any other questions about those two things, or is there anything else that you'd like to do? Next time, of course, we're going to be moving forward with this and looking at our first kind of an assignment, things to think about, and I'm going to think about how to leave these pages up or something for you in the description box below. Or maybe I should just send out, you know, what's been edited so far, make that available. I don't know. I don't know what would be better. We'll kind of figure that out, and I'd like your feedback as we go along. And Liz Torres, I have a question about crease work on deep set hooded eyes. Should the shading be done from the natural crease or a bit higher than that? I wonder about that. Yes, I have a crease. Now, when I do this, you can see it, but now when I look just straight ahead, you can, it's hard to look at the camera, and you can see where my eye is falling down here. Now, when my eyes are just like this, the trick is to make sure that the lid, as much of the lid as possible, is light. But when you're putting on your makeup, what I would normally have done was go into the crease. Now I go higher. So that when I'm talking, you can see the crease a little more, but it's essential. It's essential that it's well blended, okay? That's a good question, and thank you for that. I know it's off topic, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's what questions are all about. Whatever you want to talk about. It doesn't have to be on topic. I hope that helps, Liz. And it's something to practice, you know. Try it, go a little bit above, and make sure it's well blended. And remember that you can use your foundation powder blended with it too, along the edges. If you find it's a little bit too dark or whatever, take some foundation powder and just blend over top of it, and that will help. And take take selfies and look at your selfies straight on, like I'm looking right now, and with your eyes closed and up a little bit. So you want to see, you with your eyes closed, you'll see where you put it with your look when you're looking straight into the camera, and the camera lens should be even with your eyes. Then you can see if you need to move higher or if you've gone too high. And do you really need it in right in the actual crease? You can go a little bit higher in the crease. You don't have to go right in there, if you know what I mean. That takes a little bit experimenting because everybody's eye shape is a little bit different, okay? I hope that helps. And she says, oh, so it's a little higher. Okay, yes, yes. Hope that explains it fine. Okay. All righty. Well, something to think about and take away with you. The summary: confidence is the most desired state. It absolutely is. Like I said earlier, where everybody is drawn to it. It's dependent on you being in charge of you, nobody else, just you. And it's simply a choice. And like with our makeup, when you practice it daily, it becomes a habit. And when you continue, after a while, it becomes just a natural state of being. It's just, you just automatically operate that way. You know, habits can be either positive or negative. But whatever we practice doing, we'll get good at. So if we practice negative habits, we'll get really good at being at negative habits. When we practice good habits, we'll get really good at implementing those. And let's see, I think that we have a question here from Linda. And she says, whoops, I got to move something out of the way here. Another off topic. I remember you talking about your favorite hairspray a while back. Could you show us? Okay. Here it is, the John Frieda Frizzies. Now I get the flexible hold, and there's also the firm hold. But to tell you the truth, I use the flexible hold most of the time. But if I've got a do that has to stay, then I'll use the firm hold where I need it to be. Okay, and yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. Alrighty. So think about confidence, think about habits, think about just the discussion, and watch this again. If there's anything you've missed or you want to share with a friend, please, feel free to do that. Now, I just want to also remind people that you can follow me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Okay. And when you hit the bell, the notification bell, it has 3 new things now. Do you want to be notified of all notifications for this channel, just a few or whatever? But I would hit all. And then for those that follow me with my advocacy work with, women's and children's, sexual safety and everything else that goes with it, you can follow me on my advocacy channel. Now remember to, if you like this, to please share and, with your friends, and like, please, because I'm sure you've heard from other YouTubers. Yikes! What a mess. So it's dependent on you guys, liking. And on Facebook, I have a public page, Sharon Danley Beauty, where I put up a number of things, and that in the makeup and hair world. And then on Facebook, Going Gray and Loving It is a closed page for women aging and embracing their gray hair. Now, if you want to make better, you go to that page too. That seems to be the best place to do it. And Inner University, again, I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a special, playlist for Boss of Me, or whether I will put it in here, but I'll let you know. Okay, now we have some questions here again, so I'm just going to remove these things. And let's see. Her Herta says, re-lipstick. I cannot get it to stay on and cannot get a good lip line. Are you using the Maybelline Superstay? Okay. First of all, your lips must be clean. No serums, no moisturizer, no anything on your lips when you apply the Maybelline Superstay. And as I said to you, or I said earlier, not just to you, but to everybody, when you do it, if you've got any left over, now if you're having trouble with your lip line, then what I would suggest is getting a little tiny brush or a lipstick brush and wiping the color off the wand, and then use the lipstick brush to line your lips with, and then you can fill in. Okay? And make sure it's dry in between. It's important that each layer be dry. Okay? And then you top it with the balm and you should be good to go. And Beth Tompkins says, thanks, Sharon. I'm excited about this new series. Oh, good. Because you know what, gang? I tried to do something similar to this before, and it just seemed that people weren't interested. And lately I've been thinking, you know what? There's always, and I had 2 or 3 people ask me lately about doing something along these lines. Excuse me, I know I'm just watery for some reason. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to revive this. I'm going to go ahead and anyway. And if only 10 people watch it, if it helps 10 people, then that's what's important, right? And Liz Torres, wonderful. and Linda Lee, thanks so much. You're welcome. And let's see what we have here. Victorian, you are so beautiful inside out. Thank you so much. And you know what? I appreciate your compliment. I really do. And all I am is practice. I've made decisions. I've designed my life. I've designed my belief systems. And I've honed the skills that I've needed to get me where I need to be. That's all that it is. Believe me. Okay, but thank you. Zolwini, thank you. I look forward to the next time. Good. And Liz says, Herta, the actual products is very important, but the tips applying, blotting, and reapplying that Sharon gives is helpful. Thank you, Liz, for that confirmation. And Herta, yes. And Beth has one last question. My hair is flat in front and on top. It looks great, fresh from blow dry, then flattens within hours. What do you suggest? Backcombing. If you take a look, Beth, at my playlist for hairstyling, there's a whole bunch there, and I think I just put up a few lately with how to get volume. Now, it looks to me like you've got beautifully thick hair. Envy, envy, envy. You won't need to backcomb as much as, say, someone like myself needs to do. The trick is learning the art of backcombing, and it's not that hard to do. And how you lay it down, comb over the top layer, and use the prong of your comb to go in and lift. And sometimes what you can do is go in, lift, spray, hold it a sec, and then take it out, and the spray will help to keep it in place. Okay, so hope that helps. But make sure you check out the hairstyling playlist. And Jennifer Johns, tube mascara the best. When I cry or sweat, the extended tubes lashes come off. Really? Well, that's interesting. Now, the only ones I recommend are Blink or L'Oreal Double Extend tube mascara. And I believe I put up a video in the makeup playlist about that very thing, about how the best way to make mascara work for you. Okay? So check that out, and if you're still having a problem, then let me know. And Herta, love your advice and tips. Tell friends. Will tell friends, I think is what you meant. Thank you. Myrna, this coming right on time. Thanks. Oh, good. And Pat Thompson. Good to see you, Pat. I need this, feeling a little lost lately. Oh, welcome to the club, sister. You are by far not alone. Trust me. Linda, true us. We are interested. So glad to find you. Oh, good. I'm glad. Share with your friends, please. Um, I'm excited for this playlist. Thank you. Thank you, Corey. I'm glad to hear that. That's good. And Ella, thank you, Sharon. I haven't started journaling, but starting to think about it. Good. Um, and just a tip, even if you get a book, um, think about putting your thoughts on post-it notes and put that in the journal, because that way you can take them off if you want to. It's psychologically, it's an interesting thing to experiment with. And Beth, thanks for the backcombing tip. You're welcome, Beth. Denise, how are you? Having a hard time finding white hair topper that is not wavy but straight. My hair is more white than gray. Any suggestions? You can buy hair by the weft, and that's usually a meter long. Okay. Now I know that they sell them on Amazon. If you check the links in the description box, or now they call it the show me box below the video, I have links in there of where you can look. And usually the places that have gray will have white. Check out Uniwigs as well, because I believe that they have white. And I would recommend using the new heat-friendly synthetic fiber as opposed to human hair, for a number of reasons. One, it's lighter in weight. Two, you can get much better variety of colors. Three, you can curl them. You really can. What I do with my synthetic extensions is I have some for curly and some for straight. And what I do is I spritz them with water and then I curl accordingly. For my extensions that I have where I go from one side around the back to the other, it's just one weft only, and I fold it in half and quarter, spritz it, and put it on one large Velcro roller so it has a slight bend to it. It's perfect for my needs. Now, when I'm wearing my hair curly, I have one exactly the same, only I roll it in those little sponge rollers, four of them, and I start at the base of the weft and wrap at the base and tuck the end in when I get to the end, and secure it with a long roller pin to secure the end into the where the hair is rolled. And I just hang it in the cupboard. So when I'm ready to use it, it's there. It's done. Synthetic for me and for us, I think is the best. Really, I do. Jennifer, thank you so much. Appreciate everything you're doing. Well, thank you, Jennifer. I'm glad. And Linda, great show. You are awesome. Well, thank you. I know there's a number who would disagree with you, like the one thumbs down that is already up. But, that's okay. That's okay. Now, listen, I'm going to, for those of you who are looking to find the playlist, first of all, this is the channel. So here's something you can do. If you're looking for a specific thing, you can go into where it says search there, or click on the playlists. And when you click on the playlist, it'll bring you to a page like this, where all the playlists are listed. And there's more, of course. And they're all the things that are same or similar related videos are in the same playlist. So make sure that you do that. Now, our quote for this week is, "Beauty attracts the eye, but inner strength attracts the heart." And I think that absolutely fits for what we are doing today. So I want you to remember that healthy confidence is a key to success in whatever it is we're doing, whether we're a grandmother, taking care of our grandkids, whether we're volunteering, whether we're working in a multinational corporation, whether we're on the farm, we're a farmer, whether we're in lumber, or maybe we're a machinist, maybe a dental assistant, or an executive assistant, or an airline host, or whatever, a nurse, whatever it is that we are volunteering for, or working for, or contributing to. Our healthy confidence will pay huge dividends in what we bring to our game, both for the world that we interact with and our just with ourselves, when we're by ourselves having a nice cup of tea or a glass of wine, reading a good book with a digital fire, or whatever it is we do. It's important. Healthy confidence. Remember, not arrogance. Confidence. It's important. Well, I think that's coming to the end of our time. And I just want to say thanks for joining me today, ladies. It's always a pleasure spending some time with you and interacting. It's wonderful. And thank you for your feedback. I'm definitely going to take those things into consideration and, make the best plan. I'm thinking that right now, every 2 weeks may be probably just the best, so that gives us time to really hone. By the way, I'm doing a master class for makeup on our Going Grey and Lovin' It page. And I have to say, it's turned out to be quite a successful thing. We're taking our makeup one step at a time. The first week was just on foundation. And that's all anybody did. And I asked them to do their foundation, post a pic. And then I would coach as to what they needed, where they needed to add more, what they needed to do. And now we've just finished doing our lower liner. We've done our foundation, our blush, our lipstick, our mascara, our gel liner, our lower liner. Now we're going to do, this coming Sunday, we're going to start our upper liner if we need it. And there's various ways of doing it. And I'm leaving eyebrows. We're going to take a couple of weeks for that. And then we're going to finish with false lashes. And might need a couple of weeks. But the beauty of the master class in the makeup is that people are really seeing and really learning rather than having it all at once. So I think that if we take this course every 2 weeks, that might be the best for most people, so that you really get a chance to practice and do stuff. And there'll be an assignment where maybe you can state what it is you found, or what was the secret for you, or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to figure out a little bit more of that. I thought I would try this first and see the feedback, and it seems to be great. So we're going to carry on. Okay, so remember, in this week, please take good care of yourself, your loved ones, and the world around you, just the world around you. And if you've benefited in any way, please think about paying it forward to somebody in need, with your own special talent or your time or your treasure, however that works for you. Okay, ladies, well, thank you very much. And I'll see you around soon, and I'll see you on the page as well. Thank you. Mwah.